What is the best strategy for stress management?
The best strategy would be breathing and awareness and preparing. So if you know that, for instance, you have something very stressful coming along, to have developed some strategies and to be ready for that. To recognise that stress is an important part of our life and it's an inherent part of the legal profession. So rather than beating yourself up about it, to actually plan for that and to have some processes in place so that you manage that well. So that would be taking stock and perspective, highlighting areas that you need to prioritise and then letting go of some activities at that point in time. So it's really all about being aware, keeping calm by breathing throughout that time and having sufficient strategies in place so that when stress arises, you can manage it effectively.
And what about exercise? How important is exercise? We hear that a lot in terms of coping and dealing with stress.
Yeah. Exercise can be very helpful for people to release the excess adrenaline. So when we're feeling stress, we have a lot of adrenaline flowing through the system. So if we go for a run or boxing bag, we're actually letting that adrenaline out. It also stabilises the heart rate and helps us to get some endorphins through, which is kind of the antidote to stress. So exercise, regular exercise, can be very helpful as long as the person is somebody who enjoys exercising. If it's something that they're doing and it's actually adding stress to their day because they're trying to fit it in and it's not something that comes naturally to them, then it may actually be a little bit more stressful. So it's understanding yourself and those things that are helpful to you. In general though, around about 20 to 30 minutes a day of moderate activity, whether that be running or going for a walk, sitting outside with your friends and going for a walk at lunchtime if you can, but 20 to 30 minutes of moderate activity either in one particular session or spread throughout the day in little lots can be very helpful.
And diet, can that play a part as well in helping manage stress?
Yes, diet's very important. Research has shown, particularly recently, research has shown that the more fruit and vegetables that people eat, then the more ability they have to manage their resilience and their stress. When we are often feeling stress, we often reach for sugary foods because our brain uses a lot of sugar in terms of that processing. What that does though is actually stress the body as well because we don't process sugar very well. So if we can actually reach for a piece of fruit rather than a sugary muffin or a biscuit or a slice, that's overall going to be healthier for us. We also won't be beating ourselves up for being unhealthy, which is going to add to stress as well.
And alcohol?
Alcohol in moderation can be helpful because it helps us to relax. It gives us that sense. If though we're using alcohol only to manage our stress, then that's going to be detrimental because of the long-term health effects that arise from alcohol. The more alcohol we drink, the more we need to keep drinking over time to get the same effect with that. So 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol can be fine, but if you notice when you're feeling stressed that you're drinking a lot more than that, then it's important to actually take some corrective action with that.
And caffeine?
Caffeine is one of those substances that is great. A good cup of coffee is fantastic and a very pleasurable experience. However, the caffeine shot actually increases the adrenaline in the body as well, and that can increase our heart rate, which can reinforce the message that we're feeling stressed. So if you have coffee, then it's helpful to minimise the amount of coffee that you have so that you're not having too much coffee, and actually slow down and enjoy the coffee rather than drinking it as a stress reduction strategy. When we drink a lot of coffee and have a lot of caffeine, so even caffeinated drinks, we get to the point where our body actually needs that to be replenished. And if we don't keep that constant flow up, then that can actually make us feel agitated as well. So moderating it, basically anything in moderation is okay, as long as we're not using it as the only crux.